So dear friends, we are in the month of August. We have just celebrated the Independence Day and also the feast of Mother Mary, the Assumption of Our Lady. This week or weekend, we are celebrating the 21st Sunday of the year. And the message that we have today is, life is difficult, but it's worth. And in order to gain success or perhaps merits to every effort of ours, we have to work hard. We have that beautiful saying in the Gospel where Jesus says, "Enter by the narrow door." It looks very strange. If the door is big enough, we can surely enter it easily. But then why does Jesus say that we have to enter to the narrow door? The difficulties, the problems, perhaps even the sufferings are part of our life. And more than anything else, hard work. Hard work. We can't expect to get success by easy, compromising and comfortable situations. There's a saying in English which says, there's no gain without pain, without hard work. I was told that the famous caves of Ajanta and Ellora in Aurangabad, when people go to see there, and when they are moved towards that famous painting, thousands of years ago that painting was done and it's still on those murals on the walls. But it's in the entrance to that particular cave is a very, very small one. You have to bend, you have to bow and then go in. And so the guide there, perhaps when he's asked why we could have made a big door or big gate for this, he tries to explain and says, you see the beauty of it, the grandeur of it, when you come out slowly and with effort, you are exposed to this beauty. If you are just entering into a big door, perhaps you would have been distracted here and there. There wouldn't be nothing or anything of worth that perhaps for you is important. So also is life. As much as you work hard and sincerely, God will always reward you. There's another beautiful saying from the Gospel, somewhere in the end of the Gospel, which says that the ones who are first will be last, and the ones who are last will be first. Conversely, the other way about. And why does Jesus say that? Our religion tells us to be humble, to be simple. And that is why Jesus himself chose to be born as a pauper, as a poor man in Bethlehem in that cowshed. And so every step of his perhaps progression towards a certain unlimited type of situation, but then the beginnings are humble. The beginnings are simple. And so we also, those who take perhaps the last state, the last seat, surely will be pushed into the front. But the ones who assume that they are deserving to take a big seat or perhaps to be in the limelight, to be always in the publicity, they say the pride will have a fall in the middle of the hall. We will have a fall. And so this simplicity and humility on our part and coupled with hard work is what God wants to tell us about our spiritual life, about our social life, about our family life. I would say how humble the parents have to be. The children, as they look at them, they are not fully all the time dressed in their perhaps those fineries. At home you are in a simple dress. The father and mother at your service. The father doesn't mind to clean up the kitchen, the floor. The mother doesn't mind doing the work. And this is how the children look at you. And when the children grow up, they remember these simple and humble things of life. There's a girl who shared with me and said that, unfortunately, I was born in a rich family, she said. I said, why do you say unfortunately? Because she said, I didn't have these simple joys that people speak of. running about, and perhaps meeting in a plate, having nothing with me, but at the same time with joy which some of my friends have. I was always lifted up and I was considered as something like a small princess in my house. I didn't have the joys of poverty and simplicity in my life. My parents had no time for me. That was a sad thing. Because they were always so busy. They were going for work, they were going for meetings, they were going for this one. I didn't have them for myself. And that's the sad part of it. When I hear the others to say that, perhaps that's what God wants us. Humble and simple life. At the same time, small beginnings, humble beginnings, and always hard work in your life. But dear friends, I take you to the celebration of this Sunday as the Youth Sunday. You know, the youth have every Sunday. The youth are always happy. And the youth is a very special age that doesn't perhaps repeat itself in our life. To be spontaneous, to be active, to be free, to be going about, to have friends, to get letters, to get messages. These are small things of youth. And therefore, this Sunday the Church remembers very much in our Archdiocese. We are celebrating it on this Sunday, though it was another diocese, it was celebrated on last Sunday, etc. Since last Sunday was the prison ministry Sunday for us, we have kept the Youth Sunday as this on this day. I wish the youth a very happy day, and not only this day, but a joyful part of your life. May God help you. Don't get into any bad habits. Don't get into those situations where you will regret later. On the other hand, be humble and obedient to your parents. Be respectful to your teachers. May always have consideration to those who are elders and senior citizens. We always say, be kind to those people when you climb the steps. Because one day you're going to come down the steps and you're going to meet other people in your life. Inasmuch you have been perhaps noble enough as you go up, considering everyone that walks with you, so also will your coming down in your perhaps your senior age or old age. It will also be pleasant because these are the cycle of life that we can't get through. As I said, the Holy Father recently, in the month of July, we celebrated the Day of the Grandparents and the Senior Citizens. And so, my dear youth, be kind and generous. Be happy. Be always, perhaps, this part and parcel of your life will never be repeated. And so, kindly be considerate to the others. At the same time, be always joyful. Be always happy. Mother Teresa used to say, peace begins with a smile. I ask you to exchange this smile with everybody, especially the youth. I am sure there will be some competitions, some activities in the Archdiocese. Father Anil Desa, STB, is the director of the youth and he has organized so many things. Recently, I was also participated in the valedictory function of the sports, the Archdiocesan level sports. And I am told there were many other activities, so I wish you well. The 21st of August also happens to be what's called the Justice, Peace and Development Sunday. We have on the CBCI level what we call a Justice, Peace and Development Commission. Perhaps you might ask, what's the big meaning about it? You know, justice means to be just, to give the person the due that he deserves. That is justice. What is peace? We are all longing for peace. And peace is not just noiselessness. Peace is an internal quality by which even in the place of noise, even in noisy crowds, you can still feel the closeness with nature, the closeness, the silence of at least certain times and situations, and more than anything else, a pleasant feeling in your heart. And what is development? Development by itself means that you help those that are not developed, those that do not have. Provide them with certain things so that they can always be perhaps share some of the good things that we have. And therefore the Church celebrates this day in order especially remembering the poor, the marginalized, those that have no rights. This is the day especially when we think of the human rights situations, that there are many people are not able to exercise their right. We have heard, the might is the right. Those who are mighty, they have the rights. But what about the poor? And therefore, this is a day also for us to analyze and see whether we also have been instruments of justice, instruments of peace and development for the others. We have in our Archdiocese the Bangalore Multipurpose Society, that's called the BMSS, and we have a lot of activities of conscientization of people's rights, and also a lot of development works are taking place, building of houses, empowering the women's groups, and also the citizens' duties, rights. There are so many things that are taking place, and surely, perhaps in some way, we will ask God to give us that sense and sensibility to be aware of the poverty of the others, the deprivation of the rights of the others, and at the same time, the lack of development for which perhaps we are also responsible. We have some good news this year and this month, 22nd of August. First of all, it's a very special day because it's the day of the Queenship of Mother Mary. We have heard of Jesus as the Christ, the King, and we celebrate it on the last Sunday of the year before this beginning of Advent. And so in the month of August, on the 22nd of August, the Church celebrates the Queenship of Mother Mary. Mother Mary, as she was assumed into heaven, she was crowned as the Queen of heaven and earth, and Jesus gave her this privilege, as it were, and therefore we invoke Mother Mary, not to have all the jewels, not to have all the gold, but then to feel within ourselves what we call that empowerment of human beings, and especially the women, to be empowered, to rule in certain areas, at the same time to be independent, to be exclusive for certain activities, and surely the talents that we can develop. Of our own, perhaps we ask Mother Mary for intercession to make us kings and queens, princes and princesses, so that we in our life also can experience the greatness of Mother Mary, who defined herself as the handmaid of the Lord. Once again, like the gospel message today, Mary who bowed and who knelt down before God, God raises her up as a queen of heaven and earth. And on this day, 22nd of August, we are having a very happy event in our Archdiocese, the inauguration and dedication and also the blessing of the new Church of Christ the King at Malleshwaram. We are very happy from almost 4 or 5 years, the people of Malleshwaram have been waiting for this church. They have also contributed a lot, and the Archdiocese also has given some of our contributions, and together we have built this beautiful church. Father Bernard, Father Norman Bernard is the parish priest, and he invites all of you for this function that will take place 4 o'clock onwards on 22nd of August. And if I may scratch a little of the history, I am told that in the year of independence, that is 1947, not 15th of August, but 15th of September, the first church or the old church was inaugurated. And we are in the 75th year of the independence. It's a pleasant coincidence that in the month of this August itself, on 22nd of August, we are inaugurating the new and beautiful church, which perhaps will last long years to come. I welcome you for this celebration. I congratulate the parish priest, Father Norman Bernard, and at the same time all the parishioners of that parish of Christ the King in Malleshwaram, a very happy occasion and congratulations. God bless you all. Let me just speak a little about the religious freedom that perhaps the government of India speaks about. And there's a little of curtailment of our freedom of religion, or rather proclamation of our religion, by the new regulation or law that has been brought out by what we call the anti-conversion bill. I've said it often, we Christians, we are not for forceful conversion. We are never for what we call the incentives that we offer in order the others that come. But the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech is never perhaps taken away from us, and nobody can take it away. Article 25 of our Constitution says that any citizen of India has the freedom to preach, to proclaim and to profess his religion. And therefore, we have every right to go and profess, to proclaim, but not to force the people to convert. And we should never do it, we will never do it. But on the other hand, it looks a little sad that the government does not trust us. And I have said it in different forums that we Christians, we will not resort to this sort of a cheap type of getting the people to our religion. The government has trusted us for so many years. More than the government, the people have placed their trust in us. The number of institutions that the church runs in the whole of the country in Karnataka. In Karnataka, we are almost 30% of the institutions that we are, education institutions, are run by the Christians. And there is not a single instance of conversion in our schools. So also, we have taken upon ourselves the responsibility of running clinics and hospitals all over the country. So many patients that come to us, we have given them what we call the cure, the healing, but we have never done conversions, and we won't do it. So therefore, we have to pray very seriously that the regulations restricting our freedom to preach and proclaim may be lifted up once again, and at the same time, the Christians may be spared of any attacks in this matter. And I say it publicly that our Hindu brothers and sisters need not get scared. We are there for development. We are there always for justice. We are there for peace and development. And we are also patriotic in our sentiments towards the country. I always say, we are for God, we are for the country. And that is the type of freedom that we would like to experience, and I'm sure our prayers will be heard. My dear friends, last week we had a sort of an input session for many volunteers who came from different parishes here as to how to register and check their voting ID card. As you know, many of you have their voting ID cards, but it could happen that perhaps you have not used it for so many years, and the government goes on renewing these cards, and perhaps your name has been wiped off, your name has been placed in another area, or maybe there might be certain mistakes also that may have occurred, for which we have to check to the computers, to the app that we have, our ID cards. And this is what we said to our volunteers who came that day, and we are prepared to have it in every parish. If there are people interested in order to learn how to check through the app, their voting card, and also perhaps those who have not voted or those who do not have the voting cards, how to make the voting card. This instruction will also be given. If you inform us, and the youth director, especially the youth, I place a little more responsibility on them, because they are very smart, they are very intelligent, They are brilliant in operation of the computers and the mobiles, and our youth who have been educated will surely help you. You could approach our youth director, Father Anil, and he would send his team to your parish in order to train others, to find out how the status of your voting card, at the same time to help you to revise it, to correct it, or even make new voting cards. I wish you well. May this Sunday and the weekend be a special one for you as you spend time with your family. God bless you.
My dear friends, please do share your feedback, your impressions, and your experience, or send a message to the email address as you find on the screen, archdblr@gmail.com. And you also have the phone number, the mobile number, wherein you can send your message or WhatsApp on this number. Archbishop is ready and waiting to answer your questions. If you have any question, any doubt, any uncertainty, or there's no clarity upon something, you can ask those questions, and with the discretion that the Archbishop will surely answer these questions in the weekly feature Shepherd's Voice. Thank you, and we look forward to the next episodes.